How does someone feel when trying to make a new installment in a series whose most beloved game was a commercial flop that can't even properly work without unofficial patches? Is it relief thinking that you can't possibly do any worse, or is it the same kind of dread you'd feel bringing your black girlfriend at Thanksgiving while your racist uncle is waiting with a six-pack at hand? All I can say is that turning a new chapter in the Vampire the Masquerade franchise into a VR game might be either a sign of confidence or the hope that very few people will ever even play it. We play as Justice, and the Only Knows name will probably be the only thing you will remember of this dude, on a quest in the classy town of Venice. And honestly, the city looks just like the real thing. Old and atmospheric buildings, the gondolas, the hatred towards tourists, rats bigger than your head, water that kills you the instant you touch it, and the inhabitants disappear if you get too close to them. Wait a minute. Yes, this is a buggy game, so be ready for the AI having a mental breakdown, random freezes, or the main character just switching gender from one cutscene to the other.
Lee set up a meeting with Elena Giovanni, one of the...
It had been hard at work here. Buildings were
very progressive. The bugs, however, are probably the only homage this title makes toward its own saga. Core concepts of the franchise like humanity are completely absent, and the same goes for the titular Masquerade, the idea that vampires shall never reveal their nature to humans. Let me be clear here. This Vampire the Masquerade has no masquerade, and you gotta appreciate the irony of that when the entire title is set in Venice of all places. All of this could be glossed over if the plot was somewhat intriguing, but it really isn't. You just go around eating dudes trying to recover the amulet your master lost after suffering from a severe case of death, and somehow something this straightforward managed to confuse me. I got to this point where this lady tasked me with killing two of her underlings, but after doing so I got back to her villa to kill her because apparently she betrayed me. But that didn't happen at all. In fact, I even went as far as replaying the whole game from scratch, because it's very short, just to see if I missed some dialogue lines in between missions, but no, Justice just says that we need to exact revenge. So yeah, I'm giving up on the plot of this thing, which leaves us with the gameplay. And there was some stuff I enjoyed here. Traversing the streets of the city is satisfying, and exploration is rewarded with shortcuts and paths that allow you to avoid groups of enemies. The teleportation power has a range big enough to make traversal swifter without being excessively overpowered, and if you risk getting spotted you can just turn invisible. But using your powers, however, will deplete your hunger meter, and the only way to avoid starving is going full Twilight on whoever you'd find and drink them dry. And that's honestly the most fun I had, because you just need to touch someone and they just go... The power of Christ compels you! And when you're done sucking them up, you can just yeet them to the stratosphere. It's either that or you can just find a rat spawn point and enjoy the tastiest buffet Venice has to offer. If you think I'm spending way too much time talking about this dumb stuff, it's because the rest of the game just wasn't very good.
Be humble and learn your goddamn place.
On paper, fighting enemies head-on means being turned into Swiss cheese, so theoretically, stealth is imperative here. The game also gives you two more powers to deal with them, a dark pit that sends them straight into the Shadow Realm, and a vaguely hentai-ish tentacle that gets stuck on your enemy's head and then makes it explode. But both of them take a huge toll on your hunger meter. And you know, I tried to make use of these tools, attempting to be stealthy, upgrading my abilities, carefully planning my next move, but all that can just go straight out of the window when you realize that the most efficient strategy is just this. Bonking.
There you are, Mont.
Here I am. And the bosses? Well, they're bosses, alright. I'm sure that many of you can still find this enjoyable, and I can't deny that there were a few moments here and there that I could at the very least consider engaging, although the soundtrack was doing the heavy lifting there. But inevitably, the last few stages just put the final nail on the coffin. With the level design so strict and linear, the only accomplishment I can recognize to it is that it really managed to encapsulate the entire experience for me. Feeling trapped.